These are the legends whispered in the night, stories of mystery, fear, and wonder. Welcome to Island Myths and Legends. The islands remember, do you?
The moss camp had been abandoned for decades, swallowed by creeping vines and time-worn silence. Naomi stepped inside, the scent of aged fabric and forgotten revelry thick in the air. Her task was simple: restore a vintage Dame Lorraine costume, a relic of an era long past. She found it draped over an old mannequin, its elegance undiminished by the years. The dress was absurdly heavy, adorned with layers of silk, lace and pearls, yet untouched by decay. She ran her fingers over the bodice, shivering as a strange warmth lingered beneath the fabric. "You shouldn't be touching that." Naomi turned sharply. A stooped old woman stood at the doorway, her gaze clouded with something between fear and knowing. "That dress don't belong to you," the woman murmured. "It's still looking for its dancer." That night, alone in her workshop, Naomi heard it, the faintest rustle of fabric, the distant echo of laughter. But when she turned, there was nothing there. Naomi spent hours adjusting the dress on the mannequin, smoothing the fabric, fixing the beadwork. A radio in the corner crackled to life, playing an old calypso tune. Then she saw it. The mannequin's posture had changed. The rigid stance was gone. Now it leaned ever so slightly as if mid-step. Naomi backed away, heart pounding. The radio fizzled into static, the melody dissolving into whispers. The next morning, she found footprints in the dust, trailing away from the mannequin. She asked around town, hoping for some logical explanation. Instead, she got hushed voices and nervous glances. Long time ago, a Dame Lorraine never take off she costume, an elder finally admitted. Last time anybody see she was Carnival night, dancing alone in the moonlight. Naomi fought the urge, but curiosity won. She slipped into the costume, adjusting the padded hips, tightening the corset. The moment she faced the mirror, an unnatural heaviness settled over her. Her limbs tingled, her breath caught. Then she saw it. Her reflection wasn't copying her movements. The Dame Lorraine in the mirror lifted a hand to wave, smiled. The world spun. Naomi woke up in the street, the sun rising over Port of Spain. Her feet were bare, her dress torn, and she had no memory of how she got there. The applause started at midnight. It came from nowhere and everywhere at once, a distant audience waiting for a show. Her room became a stage. Shadows swayed in elegant waltzes, figures dressed in powdered wigs and silk gowns. They clapped. They watched. They waited. Naomi dug through records, desperate for answers. She found them in yellowed newspaper clippings and whispered rumors. The woman who first wore the dress had been cursed, forced to dance until her body gave out, her existence fading into legend. Only the costume remained, waiting for a new host. And now it had chosen Naomi. Carnival Tuesday. Naomi's body wasn't hers anymore. The music started, and she moved, spinning through the streets in a dance older than time. The masquerade had begun. Ghostly figures lined the roads, their aristocratic laughter merging with the rhythm of steel drums. The city itself held its breath, as if history had folded upon itself. Naomi knew what she had to do. The Dame Lorraine had never misstepped in life. If Naomi could force an error, she could break the cycle. With a final, desperate turn, she stumbled. A collective gasp, a wail of fury. The dame's form twisted, her perfect grace shattered. The masquerade crumbled, the ghostly revelers fading into the night. The dress unraveled, silk turning to dust in the wind. Naomi collapsed, free at last. She survived, but something wasn't right. In her mirror, a shadow lingered. The Dame Lorraine stood behind her, smiling. And somewhere, in a quiet workshop, a seamstress threaded her needle. A new dress was being sewn, waiting for the next answer.